Me wearing shorter hair was out of convenience for time and also to help me treat HS in my scalp. But in 2019, I decided that I was going to go about it in a different way. So let's talk about that journey.
Trust that exactly where you are is where you're meant to be. So keep your chin up so your crown doesn't fall. Remember, you're royalty.
Now, before we get started, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up and click on that bell notification so you're notified every time I post another video. And this is really, really vulnerable. So leave a comment as we go along and let me know that your girl is okay. But I remember when I first cut my hair, it was crazy because my hair was already in a short pixie. But once all the hair was gone, I was like, girl, I'm about to put a wig on real quick. And then something snapped like, girl, you're really insecure. Why are you being freaking insecure? And it was at this moment I realized, like, okay, I have nothing to hide. The HS outbreaks in my scalp. And when you are a person who specializes in hair care and specializes in hair growth, but you're born with hydronitis suppurativa, it's something that can feel crippling and enabling. But I decided that I was going to practice what I preached, and I was going to use the scientific method, which I have now renamed the 7-day challenge. I decided that I was going to use it on myself first, and I knew that it would work for everybody else if it would work for me, with me having HS, hydronitis suppurativa, and having to cut certain pieces of my hair out whenever I had an outbreak. So as you can see, that was March 2020, and throughout this process I have always followed the same exact patterns, right? But when my hair was a little shorter, I wasn't going over and beyond to try to put it in different styles. So my wash and go wasn't washing and going and putting a bunch of products on my head and walking out the house. No, I would shampoo my hair and condition it, spray a leave-in conditioner in like I always do, and then do some type of twist or braids and sit under a hooded dryer till it was 100% dry, and then I would style it. But that's only when my hair was shorter. Once my hair got to a place or a length where I could actually stretch it, things worked out good. But here I don't know, it's not that I made my hair lighter because I was trying to be somebody else. I just really like the way that color makes my skin pop. I don't know, I feel like it makes it look a little caramely. But this was just a few weeks after my coloring job, actually not even a few weeks, like a week later. And so I was showing you guys what products to use and what simple patterns you can follow to have a simple hair regimen. When your hair is at a length like this, you want to make sure the amount of tension and the amount of manual manipulation is at its minimum. Okay, so at this point I had another outbreak in my scalp, and because it's something that I've been dealing with my whole life, I'm really used to dealing with it. So when it came, I didn't post the pictures and things of that nature, even though I should have. So now you can only see the aftermath, but this is how it looks in other parts of my body. When I have bad HS outbreaks, it's under my arms. And now I remember this was around me and my husband's anniversary, so it was in December, but healed my body up and got right back to it. I have always used either hemp seed oil or walnut oil to detangle my hair from this short length and moving along, right? And the reason that I detangle with oil, and the reason that I've always detangled with oil from every length, is because our hair is weakest when it is wet and strongest when it is dry, right? And then hemp seed oil has a relaxing property where to the cuticle, not a relaxing property like it'll change the texture, but just it makes it calm down and not be so uptight, especially if you're a person like me who has high porosity hair, right? So I got the detangling done before the shampoo. So now you can see as I'm putting this conditioner in my hair, it's not a big deal for me to detangle. I'm not losing a whole bunch of hair because I always dry detangle first before I do anything. This is a completely different day, but this is a time frame where I was having an HS outbreak. So I was, repairing my edges on the side. And I'll say this, it is really irritating sometimes because you'll get your hair growing in a certain way and then you'll have to take a bunch of steps back, but it is fine. It repairs itself. And at this point, I'm just showing you, I do not pick the scabs that are in my scalp. And it may look like I'm being, extra with this, but really I'm just treating the follicle really quick, right? And then I'm going to go ahead, use a clarifying shampoo and make sure that I remove anything that could be sitting on top of the follicle or any excess oil that could be in there. I'm removing it because I'm only using this to treat the follicle and nothing else. There used to be a bunch of big sores, like it's just one little one now, but it used to cover like that whole entire area. So this is what I do, and I want you guys to pay attention to what my scalp looks like. This is me taking out braids that have been in for 2 weeks, and as you can see, my scalp is not dingy or dusty or crusty or cruddy, okay? But again, like I said, HS hydrogenated suppurativa is no joke, and I will be honest and say that it is always at its worst when, I don't want to say when I'm at my heaviest, but when I'm not paying attention to what I'm eating. This day in particular, my husband took me to this nice restaurant and I was eating like a fat girl after the nice restaurant, because sometimes at the really bougie restaurants they don't give you that much food. So when we got back to the room, I was eating a bunch of stuff that I didn't have no business. And it's like instantaneously, like you could, if anybody has hydrogenated suppurativa, this is when I was in a hotel room. If anybody has hydrogenated suppurativa, you know that the second you eat some stuff you ain't supposed to be eating, you can almost feel it tingling where the outbreak is going to happen. At least I can, especially once my diet was cleaner, right? But once you have an outbreak, the outbreaks are there, and that's what it is. So that's the main reason that I will always wear my hair shorter, because it was so easy for me to hide it. And then if I had a really big outbreak or something while my hair was shorter, that's when I would wear my hair like the honey blonde color, because because my natural hair color is so dark, if there's a thin spot you could easily see it, versus when my hair was like a honey blonde color, you couldn't really see the thin spots as much. And because I was always on camera filming other people, I just didn't want to explain hydrogenated suppurativa all the time. Most people that are even watching right now, you don't even know what hydrogenated suppurativa is, right? So when it comes to any herbal concoctions that you've ever seen me make on my channel, even within Guru VIP, they know that you're supposed to only apply it with a Q-tip, and I'm using it as a treatment to cure an infection within my scalp, okay? And then this day in particular, I don't put oil on my scalp every single day. What was going on, I did this in the morning, right? And then right after I put this oil on my scalp, I went ahead, put a wig on, so it was kind of like greenhouse effect. Went ahead, filmed a video, took me about an hour and a half, and after I filmed the video, I took this wig off, and then I took the braids out and started my shampoo from scratch, okay? That is how it goes. So I don't oil my scalp every single day, only on the day that I'm treating any outbreaks that are happening within my scalp, or any type of follicle death that is happening, because with hydrogenated suppurativa, it is an infection of the sweat gland, and you have sweat glands all over the scalp. So what would happen is, if anything would happen and my scalp would feel inflamed in any way, shape, or form, all I would have to do was make sure that my scalp stayed really, really clean, and then the oil mixture that I put on the scalp, killed the infection, because oils that are non-comedogenic are able to go into the follicle and carry medicine, okay? Because essential oils are medicine when you use them in certain quantities, but it's never something that should be used on a everyday basis, because they are so powerful that they can overpower the follicle and the healthy bacteria and the healthy yeast within the follicle and on the scalp, and then it'll cause an imbalance, because you need a healthy balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria. So if you're constantly putting essential oils and constantly putting things on the scalp, you're going to cause an imbalance, and you won't have enough bad bacteria, and that will cause issues, right? So at this point, I'm detangling my hair, but I don't have to add a whole bunch of oil as we're going. This is the same exact oil mixture that I give you guys within Guru VIP. You guys already know what it is. So I am now just detangling my hair with this mixture. All right. And as I'm detangling my hair, I'm going ahead and combing through. So when I'm doing it like this, and this is how I've been doing it since day one, since the day that I cut my hair off. Right? So when you do it like this, you are never losing clumps of hair. You never have breakage, like ever, because you're detangling the hair when your hair is strongest. You're using an oil that has, which I like to call slip, okay? You know, slip. And you don't need slip at all. That's not something that's needed. You don't want your hair to feel slippery and full of product or anything like that. You just don't want your hair to be stuck to each other, and you don't want to have to pull it apart. You don't want to use any type of force whatsoever. The tools that you use in your hair should aid you in gliding through the hair. You should never be pulling or tugging, because guess what? If you hear a snap, that's your hair snapping. But the hair that you're seeing me show you, the average person loses anywhere between 50 and 150 strands a day. So I'm simply removing the hair that wasn't able to fall out because my hair was braided up. All right. So I'm just taking these braids out. And as you guys know, on my other videos, I always take my braids out the same exact way, like this, with oil. Don't get mad at me, but a lot of times we just make things way too complicated. We do not need to shampoo the hair and then, only shampoo the scalp, because the hair shaft doesn't need shampoo. Like, that's not true at all. Okay. That's like saying, only wash your head with the rag, but your shoulders and everything else, just let the water drip. Like, that's like the same thing, or the same thing as you saying, oh, you wash the top of your body, but you don't have to wash your legs, because you can just let the soap run down your legs and your feet, and that'll get it clean, because you need the oils that come out on your knees, because your knees actually really don't have sebaceous glands, right? So that theory could be used for your legs as well, because you need the oil that is on the legs, because the knees and the feet don't have oil glands, so you need that oil. But no, you don't do that. You're gonna wash the whole entire body no matter what, and that's what you have to do with the cuticle as well. Please understand, shampoo is for the scalp, to cleanse the scalp and to cleanse the cuticle. Shampoo is to cleanse the scalp and the cuticle, and then conditioner is to condition the hair shaft, not the scalp. All right, so here I'm showing you guys an outbreak that I had with hydronitis suppurativa. This is the beginning of 2022. All right, I had a pretty bad outbreak just from a whole bunch of different stress points that were going on with this case I was dealing with the old house we were living in, just stuff. Okay, nothing in my marriage or nothing like that, just stuff. Okay, but in the midst of all of this, I still had another outbreak in my scalp, so I had to cut about 2 to 3 inches off, and it really irritated me. But it was like, whatever. I decided that I was going to go ahead through with my protective styles and stick with it, right? So the same exact regimen that I've always used, but the same one that I've always used, making sure my scalp stays clean, blow drying my hair and braiding it up, but but not leaving my braids in for months and months at a time, still taking them out either once a week or every 2 weeks. Okay, this time in particular, I was wearing my hair straighter because it was less stress. The less tension I put on my hair, the better. All right, so I was wearing my hair in a silk press for about a month, right? And washing my hair like every 2 weeks. And around this time is when I started going back more so on the vegan side, eating greener, because to be honest with you guys, when I go vegan, it's not because I'm like poor little chickens. It's because whenever I eat whenever I eat meat or cheese, I have really bad outbreaks. So yeah, this is one of my secret weapons. Just seriously eating green, drinking green. I'm gonna leave all of these links in the description box below. This is my favorite brand, right? But in the midst of having HS and everything and going through outbreaks, I still have to get work done, right? So in the midst of that, I still had to figure out a way to make sure that my hair was protected, because I got in the shower, all of my hair got wet, so I looked crazy, and I thought I was going to be able to wear my hair straight, but went ahead, put my headband wig on, not a headband wig, I think this one is the V part, and I had to go ahead and get ready to do this clothing haul for my Amazon live channel. Make sure you're following me over there. But in the midst of that, my face broke out something horrific. Okay, something horrific. So I was having an outbreak under my boobies, under my arms, on my face, in my scalp. But meanwhile, I was still filming. You can't tell, but I have these glasses on, and you can't see that big old bumpalization that is in the middle of my face, but it was there. See, this is the same day. I just took the glasses off. But that's how it is sometimes when you're filming and when you are living your life on social media. But this is when it started to be a little bit more noticeable that I had a bald spot in my head from HS. So, it just made me feel like, I'm going to sit back a little bit, and I just started working on other portions of my business instead of just constantly posting it online, because it feels away. I don't want to say embarrassing. I don't know what word to use, but it feels away, So at this point, again, I was making the decision to keep doing my protective styles. And when I say protective styles, I really mean protective styles because my hair is properly prepared, right? So I'm always doing it the same exact way. The only time I'm using a round brush is when I'm straightening my hair. But when I'm just blow drying it, I'm using my paddle brush. Couldn't get it out. I have like 3 pink ones, so it's not like the same pink one every time, but I am using my paddle brush with the same Olaplex regimen that I've always been giving you guys. The only difference is at this point Olaplex 9 is out, and prior to this I wasn't using Olaplex 9. I wasn't using Olaplex itself for the blowout. I would use Olaplex and Kimra's leave-in conditioner. So now I go back and forth between the two. But at this case, I'm only using Olaplex, and Olaplex 9 is my heat protected for my blow dryer. Okay. So yeah, just going ahead, blow drying my hair and following this process throughout this year. So this is my 7-day challenge, like in real life, right? Over the last couple of years. And my 7-day challenge is something that I love so much, because the thing is, even though it's called a 7-day challenge, I'm challenging you for 7 days. And in those 7 days, you change everything about your patterns, everything about the way that you select products, the way that you use products, the way that you wash your hair, the way that you rinse conditioner out, everything about it. All right. And giving you routines and patterns. So you'll notice that, yeah, my hair looks like it's always a different way, but the basis of it is always the same. Okay. The way that I prep my hair is always the same. So that way, no matter what outbreak outbreak I have in my scalp, no matter what I'm dealing with, I can always go back to my challenge. I can always go back to my journal, because within the challenge I teach you how to keep track of everything, right? So I can always go back and see where I messed up. I can see what I ate on what day and what I can do to counteract those things. All right. That's why within Guru VIP, you guys have that full lesson on enzymes. I think it's like almost an hour long, or over an hour long, about enzymes and the enzymes that the body needs to produce new hair growth cells, right? So you guys make sure you hit that up if you are within Guru VIP, because once you go ahead and cleanse the body, once you go ahead and reset the follicle and the cuticle, you then need to figure out what the body is no longer producing and how you can give the body what it needs, right? And within that lecture within Guru VIP, where we're talking about enzymes, I go all into it. All right. And it's tried and true. You don't have to take my word for it. There are so many women who have been on the journey just as long as I have, and the women that are here on the screen, they've been on the journey just as long as me, but they don't have HS, they don't have hydrogenated suppurativa, so they haven't had to cut 3-4 inches of their hair off at a time. It's not something that they've had to do. But even if you are a person that's dealing with it like I am, or let's say you don't have HS, let's say you have seborrheic dermatitis, or let's say you have some type of alopecia or psoriasis, there is something you can do, but you need to change your routines and your patterns. I want you to pay attention to my scalp. Like, it is not full of oils and butters and shiny, and my follicles are clean, they're not blocked. All right, I want you to be really cautious of that, because it's all about cleansing the follicle and making sure you don't have bacterial infections. This is one of my favorite brands right now. If you are a person who's dealing with dandruff, seborrheic dermatitis, psoriasis, or anything, this is my perfect combo for the body. All right, I'm gonna leave that link in the description box below so you can check it out. Also, make sure, if you are not doing so already, that you are following me over on my Amazon live channel, so that way anytime I go live, you are there to catch it. All right, we have so many new updates coming for you. All right, I've been making sure that I get all of this information together in order, and I hope that this isn't confusing, but I just wanted to come on here and show you guys that yes, I tell you, oh, you shouldn't use this or don't use this, but it is also coming from a person who has walked in your shoes before. Okay, I've been where you are, and when I graduated from cosmetology school initially, a lot of the things about the human body that I know now, I didn't know. I had to go to school to learn these things. I had to go to school to research these things, and even when the things that I didn't learn going back to school, I'm still learning new things every day, like how to get rid of that cowlick that looks like a bald spot that's not a bald spot. You know, I love you guys so very much, but please know that you don't have to do all of these different hacks and try to fight the natural patterns of the human body, because it is when you try to hack the human body, it is when you try to go against the way that your hair really wants to be taken care of, that it fights against you. But if you follow the science of the body, of your body, it doesn't matter what happens, it doesn't matter what illness you're dealing with, what ailment you're dealing with. When you know the science of your body, and when you know the science of the human body in general, and you understand your scalp's profile, and you understand the natural hair growth cycle, and you've taken my 7-day challenge, listen, you can overcome anything as it pertains to hair growth. All right, I love you guys so very much. Check the links below.
Trust that exactly where you are